JB here. October 16th, 3:33 here, 27 minutes to the close. Just gonna be a really quick rant. Not too much to talk about. Markets are recouping yesterday's losses. Some of them, not all of them yet, at least on the SPY. Small caps up 1.6%. Finally, IWM hit 227 for a little bit before pulling back. And then some of the names I'm in starting to pay off. So good stuff. So first, just take a look at a SPY. And I was hoping, well, I wasn't say hoping. I didn't think we'd be up 0.5% here today, but a good sign considering what happened yesterday. Some chops, some consolidation, and then tomorrow, I think the big catalyst, next big catalyst, gonna be Netflix earnings. And not that the whole how would you put it, that the market's going to all look at Netflix and say, wow, this is bullish for Amazon or Google or Meta, all those names. But I just think it's going to kind of set the trend. So I think if they have a strong number, and I talked about this morning that the ad monetization side, how is their ad model looking? What is that doing for the bottom line? I think if they're able to, uh, you know, come out positive on that end, I think that'll bode well for the markets. Not only for the markets, but for Roku. I'm not going to talk about Roku really in a minute, but so maybe some chop here. The SPY's at 582, so 578 for support, and we came down. What did we test this morning? 578.96. So maybe that looks like support for now. And then 585. And the other good thing, the upper Bollinger Band's at 583 now. So kind of come under that. I think that bodes well heading into tomorrow. And then, of course, my favorite thing to talk about over the last 6 months or so has been the small caps. And since that move we had back in July when the CPI data came in cooler than expected, and IW went from 200 to 225, its biggest rally in many years over a very short period of time. Then some consolidation at 225, and then it's just been pretty much stuck in a range for quite some time. Finally broke out over that 225 handle in the pre-market, all the way up to 227 today. And the good thing is it's done it outside of what the overall market's doing. So hopefully that continues. We get up to 230 and should bode well for some of these other names, especially the ones I'm in. So first, I'll just talk about Lam Research, and here it is under 74 here. The puts I had from 30 cents, I think they're up to $1.80 now, so up 600%. But it wasn't moving as quick as I thought, and similar, you have some of these names, especially in the semi space, that tend to all of a sudden just get these massive reversals. And considering the puts expire on Friday, didn't want to be in a spot where I lose all the gains. So I locked the rest in for a little over 200%. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. Happy to help offset some of the ASML calls that I got. And then I'm not sure I'll revisit this yet, but you start looking at the chart, and sorry about that, folks. It looks like that 71 handle might come in. So I'm not going to sit there and try and chase it, but just happy with that, and I'll move on. That's one. Number two is a Clear Secure. So, just monster. And I talked about 34 break. Once 34 break, 36 came. We pretty much did it in a day and a half. I closed it 34. What was it on? I forget what it opened. I have to go look at what happened on Tuesday. Closed at 35, opened at 35.70 this morning, and then just off to the races. It's up 5% right now, over 37. And I have to do more digging on the fundamentals. I say I'm not going to do a rant on it, but I've done rants on it in the past. Top line growth of 25%, trades 5 times revenues. I think, and I have to find a new updated short interest. Looks like the updated short interest has increased to 26%, but they have two share classes. So a lot of times these sites have the wrong share count, so the market cap's kind of out of whack. But either way, you start looking to they bought, I think it was last quarter, they bought, or at least the update is they bought 4 million shares at $18, right? So you start doing the math on some of that stuff. Just a great story. So not going to go too much more on that just yet, but maybe tomorrow I'll do a little longer rant. But you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Maybe it breaks back under 36. So considering my calls, I wouldn't say I wrote them off, but they had a small chance of going into money. Now they're well into money, so I had to close them out. So some nice profits on the last of my strikes. They're up 300%. And then I was looking at November calls, but the November 39s and 41s are somewhat expensive. I think they were 90 cents where I was looking at them. So then I started going out to January. Unfortunately, it doesn't have December strikes yet, but the Januaries, the 45s look decent on a risk reward basis. Plenty of time. If it breaks over $40 in the coming weeks, those will be double, triple at least. So went and got those January strikes. If it dips to 35 or so, maybe I'll look to lock those in and salvage them and revisit. but you start looking at the momentum here. I think this is a name that maybe it's a short squeeze now. So it opened the year at $20. So over $40. I mean, it's up, what is it, 80%, 85% now year to date. Just remarkable. And new highs beget new highs, that's what I always say. So I think that continues to break out to the upside, at least this week. And then when I get a chance, I'll lock some in to cover the cost. That's that. And then last but not least here is Roku, and just disappointing. I mean, it looked ready to go, and it was 79 at the open, boom, right through 80. I think it hit 80-70 right out of the gate. My calls were almost a double, and I was almost looking to close them out, and then boom, it just sold off like a short piece came out or some kind of catalyst, and then it's been treading water at 77 and broke into the lows right before 3 o'clock, and then a little bounce here. Not much, not much to say here. It seems like every time the market's strong, Roku sells off. Anytime the market's weak now, it rallies. So we'll see what happens here tomorrow. Just hoping Netflix can bolster the tech sector, and tech hasn't hit all-time highs yet since it's getting close. So maybe tomorrow's the catalyst for it, and hopefully it pushes Roku, because I think at some point once it starts breaking 80, it's off to the races. Similar, you take a look at Clear Secure, and I do these analogies a lot, or comparisons, because I think it's like a misunderstood story. And Roku, I think for its entire existence as a publicly traded company, is a misunderstood a story. And I think, and it beats estimates. It's becoming a cash cow. And I think and people look at Roku and think that, and it's always been these news-driven events where you had I forget the name, Vizio, right? Is it Vizio? Who's going into, I guess Vizio's going to Walmart. Walmart's coming out with their own device. Then it used to be Google. It used to be Apple. Apple had Apple TV. I don't even know if Apple makes their own little TV box anymore. Amazon, the Fire Stick, all these different devices and platforms were going to be the one that was going to kill them all. And I always talk about Roku, and I mean, obviously there's competition, but Roku is the true content neutral platform, right? And I always said my saying for Roku was one platform to rule them all, because that's what it's going to be at some point. Everybody's going to be on one platform. That's just my opinion. So whoever has the best, popular, highest view rate and all that stuff, that's it. Yeah. So hey, Bobo's in the house. Oh, me and Bobo used to talk about Tesla back in the day, but we won't go there. Good to see you. I hope the kids are good, Bobo. Yeah. So there's always been these different news events that have come out over the years that would be supposed to be the nail in the coffin. I think it's some reason why that name is so divisive, and a lot of people, they either think it's a zero, or like me, are bullish the name. So one of these days, right? So I think that's it. I'm not going to go in a rant too much. We got 19 minutes to the close. Hopefully another good day tomorrow. And Biogen disappointing here today. Just all it's going to need is a little kick. Maybe it needs an analyst upgrade or something to that effect. Next, tomorrow, SE, nice move, holding the gains here, up 3% at the open, held them over $100. So recouped yesterday's losses. I'll continue to look for opportunities to add more strikes on that one. Yeah, and the VIX back under 20. So good stuff here. That's it, folks. Let's have a great afternoon. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll. Good to see you, Bobo, by the way.